Trustees of Lamesa Independent School District is now in order. It is 6:01 on December 11th of 2025. A quorum is present with all trustees except Ernest Ojeda. This meeting has been duly called and the notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Government Code 551. Mr. Ritchie, would you lead us in prayer?
If y'all would please bow with me. Dear Lord, just thank you for the people in this room, the leadership in this room. Thank you for the Lamesa community, the Lamesa kids, the families, the staff that have all came here to make their home and to make their mark and to make their impact. Bless everybody over the holidays, over the break. Anybody traveling, please let them travel safe. Let everybody leave and come back. Just allow our students to get the rest they need so that when they come back, they're ready to continue to do great things. And then just personally, thank you to everybody in this community that has taken care of me and my family over the years. Watch over us, watch over our decisions, watch over our actions, watch over our words. And in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Has anyone signed up to speak?
No, ma'am.
Okay, at this point we'll go on to the agenda.
You're up, Scott. And Scott, make sure we start with the first rate public hearing.
Yes, so the first rate, the preliminaries came out earlier in the fall, but the final release came just before our November board meeting, so it did not attach that in there, but we did score at 96, so a very good rating. With some of those, most of those things are within our direct control, but you do get into some things that on occasion where they're looking at things over a period of time and it can affect that. But, again, a 96 is a good score and just shows that the overall management of the district is doing well. So we'll make sure those items are posted as well on the website. Any questions about the first rate? I know it was referenced in our last meetings. Right, moving on then to the financial report. The month of November was a slowdown, as you recall, the early months of the school year with the renewal of various purchase agreements, software, and other items exceed those expenses. And so when you look at the revenue and expenditure report, I'll just point out that column that shows the percent of expenditures through the month of November, and that 36% is pretty normal for year by year. When we look at the year-over-year report, you'll be able to compare that versus last year. But all in all, things going pretty close to what we've expected. That second page is the report looking at comparing the November 2025 to November 24. You can see those comparisons. Again, the two columns that really give you the best apple-to-apple comparison is the first column in 2024, 2025. I just break out 25 for you so you can see actuals and encumbrances that are waiting to be paid. But you can look at those differences and see a substantial difference there from year over year, but when you look at that, the encumbrances of our SRO vehicles activity bus, which has now been delivered, will show up on the next report for when we come back. So you look at those encumbrances and expenditures for those special items, that speaks to the bulk of the, as well as the high school HVAC replacement, speaks for almost all of that variance between this year and last year in terms of that number. Any questions over the year-over-year report? Added this last month, and so this is the governmental fund types. I just want to give you a little bit more information on those funds and what we receive and how those expenditures are going year to date. A couple of those funds, the Perkins funds, have not been expended yet, so that's why you see a blank in that column. We'll be meeting hope to get it done before the holiday. I don't know that we're going to make it, but we'll be meeting with Mr. Gensler and Ms. Baker, looking at our needs assessment that was done last year. Those are 2-year documents. We'll look at those and make some decisions on expending those purpose funds towards some of our CTE program. Those funds cannot replace what we normally spend in the district, so it'll be items, usually that's equipment and things that we have not purchased recently with local funds that we can use with the Perkins funds. So should see a difference in that. May not be in the December report, but certainly by the end of January we should see some of that moving. Any questions on the governmental fund?
Oh, which one was that?
Say again?
Which one was that?
That's
What code?
the Perkins code is Fund 244.
Okay.
So, and that money, the actual award amount, that is not all grants do this, but that one is one that will be adjusted. So what they do is sometime in the early spring, they'll make an adjustment on that one based on expenditures, some things from the federal government. So we'll see an increase in that number. It won't go down, but we'll see a modest increase in that once they make that adjustment. Anything else, Mr. Meek? No questions there. Then the check registry, again, a little lighter now that we're through the heavy start to the year finally, and so the expenditures in November are not quite the activity as far as those items go. We did have this was kind of news to me, but there's smoke alarms within the AC units, and so one of on that first page there was a expenditure for replacing a smoke alarm over at North, but that was a part of the HVAC system and had to be replaced there.
I noticed the HVAC that we did in high school was in here,
Yes, sir. And that's
but I
Weaver.
heard it had a little malfunction. Did they come fix it?
Gensler?
Heard that the heater wasn't working.
They've been working on it, the heater, but it's been off and on, the heat.
But they have.
It's like got an error code, and Sinclair's been out to look at it and been up there on the roof, but they're still working on it.
Okay.
We'll follow up with them. It's obviously going to be covered, so it's a matter of just getting the electronics. I'm sure, that was
So
installed.
they have to come out.
They have to,
Yeah.
yes, yeah. And of course, that was installed in the early start of school with the heat, and so I'm sure, there's something obviously going on with the conversion over to the
Just-
side.
Are they coming out? Do you know, Robert? Yeah, do you know? Yes.
Yeah, they've already been here.
Oh, okay,
They're
great.
replacing the place. They were getting power surges over there, so we had their guys come out. They've already replaced majority of everything, so we should be up and running. There was just something going on with the power surge. But I talked to the main guy that represented through us, and he's going to stay constantly with us. We're going to make sure we have everything monitored by computer, so we should be ready to go.
Nice, thank you.
We did receive, just pointing this out, page 8 of the check registry, so we have the balance payment toward the second activity bus. It was delivered, actually a little story there. There were some things that had not been corrected as we had requested, and so they did the walkthrough with Albert, and then they had to take it to get those last items repaired before we would take possession of it. So, but that is in our hands now, and doing that. Those are the big ticket items on the registry. Happy to answer any questions.
On page 4, the Skyward Finance Management, I know we were charged like $23,000 last month to Skyward. Is this one says Finance Management, is that specifically for the business side? Okay, that's what
Yes,
I
ma'am.
kind of figured.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they split that out between the student side and the
And this
finance
finance,
side.
okay, that's what I kind of
And I'm
figured.
generalizing that. They have some other things. Think of them kind of like apps within that, so there's some different things that they do, but those are the two big bills we'll have. We'll have another one that we paid this month that you'll see next month. It's smaller, but it's for the extension, to extend a year out to give us more time to review if we want to move forward with Q, as we talked about.
Thank you.
So we haven't moved, we still haven't
That's
got the second phase of Skyward, or that?
That was a years-long process
Right.
from the time we did it, and we're still, once we decided to change, we need her to have the ability to figure out which way to go.
Correct, okay.
So basically, we could just do an extension and buy another year of implementation to give us time to make that determination. We still want to go forward with it.
Okay.
Anything else on the check register?
What's on HVAC kind of? Sum it all.
All right. Let's go ahead through the financial report if there are any other questions and just discuss the proposed budget amendment. As we previously talked about, we're in the middle of a 4-year lease agreement with lease purchase with the iPads and Apple devices. And so during the budget prep phase, that was not something that I was aware of. And so part of that goes to do with how the first year payment was accounted for and the sale of laptops. So without the hands on the actual agreement, I wasn't aware of the payment. So we did not budget for that. So in this month's budget amendment, we have an increase in debt service. When we say debt service, that can be confusing. We're talking about the general fund, not the bond debt service, so different fund codes. So in the function 71, there's an increase of $356,326, which is the annual payment to Apple. And that is the only amendment on there for this month. We'll talk about how we're coding expenditures and revenues for the rental of facilities and playoff games, as well as rental to local activities. So,
Amendment's coming out of fund balance, right?
sir?
That amendment's coming out of fund balance. You're not-
Well, we're amending the expenditure side, but yes,
you're
sir.
not-
I mean,
you're not gonna-
unless we're able to, now, there's always my hope that we can manage the expense side, that we can absorb some of that without going into fund
I
balance.
don't know
But
that I
it's a
agree.
large
I
amount.
don't know that I agree with that, because we've already cut these campuses and cut these staffs. And, we've got situations where, teachers are having to turn kids away from programs because of travel cuts. And, it is what it is. I don't like it. I don't like the fact that we adopted a 2.1 when we should have adopted a $2.4 million deficit. But if you're going to go get $356,000 from other functions, I would like to know, and I'm only one of 7, but I would like to know where you're going to go get it.
Well,
Otherwise, it just needs to come out of fund balance, and
Sure,
it is what it is, and we just have to
Yes.
do what we got to
No.
do.
I think you need to be prepared for that. I want to be clear. I'm not talking about coming in and making cuts to the budget that's already been adopted. But
But if you're not going into fund balance, then you've got to go into another function to get it. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
Or you
Just
Right.
wanna make sure.
Or you
so
start
if
stressing.
you have employees who don't expend their budget,
I
then
get that.
those funds are then available.
I get
So
that. But to me, it would make more sense to me bottom line is the $2.1 million deficit we adopted back in August wasn't correct.
Yes.
It should have been 2.4.
yes,
And so now you're going to go find $356,000 out of somebody else's budget. And I guess that's where my concern is. Where are those cuts going to come from?
yeah. So
make that-
again,
make
not
that
talking
payment.
about cuts. Talking about if we manage things well, like we did in this past year, where we expended a lot less than we budgeted for, then there's always my hope
And
that's the case.
my preference would be to go ahead and amend the budget.
Yes,
And then if you can do that, or
yes, sir.
I
the
agree.
staff
I agree with that.
that's fixing to come in can
Yes, sir.
do that, then we do that. Because to me, it's just, it's like last year's budget. You know, we adopted a $1.5 million deficit. Now we since found out from the auditors that we're going to be putting $1 million back in the fund balance, which that's great. It's great that it swung that way. It didn't swing the other way. But that's a $2.5 million swing. And from a board standpoint, from a budget standpoint, it's hard for us. It's just like the pay raise, or not the pay raise, but the new pay schedule that we were proposed that we tabled. Well, we tabled it because we thought we were in one position. And then we found out that, you know, I guess what I'm saying there is, had I known we were going to be putting $1 million back in the fund balance, that proposal might not have got tabled.
Well, as we talked about in some of the other meetings that we've had, it is my intention to bring these things to you as they're occurring so that we can make those adjustments in real time. And as we get updates in our summary of finance and those things, that we're making decisions through the year like we're talking about and not waiting until the summer to make those changes.
I just think for us to be able to make decisions throughout the year, we need the most current available. And I realize it's a guess. It's a best guess with the funding formula. It's a moving target every day. I get that. But to me as a board, we need to know, we need to be closer to where we're at money-wise and throughout the whole year, not hoping that we get to from point A to point B at some point.
Yes.
Is that I mean, that's just my thinking.
Yes,
That's one thing I worry about is, I mean, if you don't take it out of the general fund, or you try to manage the budget, you start putting that stress on staff and the district. I mean, you always want to watch funding, or watch spending, but then you put that extra stress of, well, we don't have the money, or we don't have this, but I was budgeted for it, or we've got to manage it because we're trying to reduce our deficit. Well, that would be the reason I would say for it. Just go ahead and put it.
Yep.
That way,
And
yes,
then-
if you manage it, I mean, to me, manage is a very good way of saying, we're going to decide what's important to spend in the budget we adopted and not. So it kind of gets in a tricky game there. It puts your staff and your campuses at a
Position.
Bill, it is the plan to bring the amendments for January to you, so it's not an issue to make those revenue adjustments. We're going to have to make them on the facility rentals anyway, because those.
I mean, do you understand where
Yes.
my concern, where I'm coming from? I mean, I'm just looking at it from the standpoint of, I mean, you know, we could approve this amendment, but we're robbing Peter to pay Paul, in my opinion, because if we hold the budget, which, you know, I mean, we've cut back, especially on the classroom and the supplies and stuff like that, and force these teachers to tighten up, then, you know, we got this, you know, this amendment sitting here, or this amount that was missed, that we've got, you know, it's going to have to come from somewhere. And so assuming that everybody holds to their budgets, that's going to be hard to do to begin with. And then, you know, the time's going to come where the bill's going to have to be paid, and we're going to have to find that $350,000 from somewhere. And I just don't want to, I mean, I feel like we've already put our staff in a position to where they're watching their pennies, which I'm okay with that too. We need to all watch the dollars, because that's the environment that we're in right now. But to me, I would rather just go ahead and amend it, reach in the fund balance. That way we know where we're at today and going forward. And then if we can do things between now and August 31st, then great. But I would like to see us have a more clear picture as we're going through the year, rather than wait until, you know, the end of the year to finally find out where we're at and how much we're either going to be behind the 8 ball or in front of the 8 ball.
And that's why we're bringing these amendments to you in December, January,
Well,
and maybe month to
yeah.
month as we go through this.
And this amendment's different than normal amendments. I mean,
Yes, sir.
You know, when
Yes.
you see you're going to, you go over in a function, and you need to move it. I get that, but this is a big amount that, for us to, absorb it. We got to absorb it from somewhere. So
Yes.
where's that going to come from?
Yes.
Is my question.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good.
And the last item I have for you is the quarterly report. Shows the investment report, the balance of our different operating bank accounts, and the interest accrued over those 3 months. You can see our fund balance, or I'm sorry, our bank balance has increased significantly during the quarter. A lot of that is in response to the settle-up payment that we received in September. The 2425 is not been realized in the bank. And we've posted those revenues from the state foundation payments a little bit earlier this year than they were just kind of ready to fell in the month. So we'll have a stretch here where we won't receive state payments, so we'll see that decline as we go through. Any other questions on that? If not, then, sir?
It's asked another one. And I don't know if y'all discussed this at the last board meeting. Of course, I wasn't here. I was out of town. Where are we at on the SRO vehicles?
The SRO vehicles, the recall finally got fixed. And Flores, you may have talked to Jeremy more recently than I have, but from what I understand, we are now weeks away from them getting to where they can put the final equipment on. Is that kind of how you understood it, Flores?
Yes, sir. From the last time I talked to him, that's what he said. He said once they work through the recalls, they'll be able to send them from the factory to the data safety supply place, and then they'll be able to just start installing everything.
And he said there's a backup because a lot of vehicles were on recall. But he said now that the thing's moving, that he said he can't guarantee me exactly when, but that it is moving now that the recall has been fixed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And then the last item for me goes to the district credit cards. So we have been operating with Citibank on a 6-year contract that the state comptroller has done for state accounts. And so that contract ended. We are in an extension period that ends on December 31st. And so as I fill out the application for that state contract with US Bank, one of the changes, and this is a response to a rule change from FDIC, so they are asking for clarification on the government public accounts. And so the exact language is referred to as official custodian. And so we're required to list on the application. In fact, current cards that we have, showed that to Mr. Ritchie this morning, so our Lowe's account requires that they send a thing, Walmart send a similar thing. So they're asking for who your custodian or custodians are. So when you look at how that is defined with governmental accounts, that is usually a official. The government entity defined as official custody as officer, employer, agent of public unit that has plenary authority, including control over funds owned by the public unit, which the official custodian is appointed or elected to serve. And control of the public funds includes possession of, as well as authority of the establishment of accounts of IDI and to make deposits, withdrawals, and disbursements. And so because it is a credit card account, but it's also treated like a bank account, and so I just wanted to make sure that we had authorization to go forward with doing that. So that we can complete that application and visit with the superintendent with regard to the credit card accounts and how many cards we want to disperse to employees, and how many we want on campuses to sign out for approved expenditures. But so this is just trying to make sure that we have the application in place so that we can then order the cards once that discussion's been made.
So this one starts 3/1, but our current one expires 12/31.
Say again?
This one here starts March 1 of 26. That's what it shows. Or March, okay, March 1 of 25.
Yes, sir.
How does it expire 12/31 then?
So that
Shows
you're
27.
looking at the contract date, not the ramp up to get everybody moved over. So when they do that, you have a contract ending, and then there's probably in that contract there's already wording that says at the end of this contract, this is what U.S. Bank's going to allow to do an extension, because you've got not only school districts but all your state agencies, right, that have to make that conversion over. So we were actually told back in September that we were on the list. They were just prioritizing the state agencies before they got to the ISDs, and we had not heard back from them. So when I reached out about 3 weeks ago, I did not hear back from the comptroller, but I did get a hold of the state contact at U.S. Bank to get this process started so that we can get the application and get the transition done.
So these are not new cards, or new company?
Yes, sir, it would be. Yes.
Or
So
switching total company?
say again.
You don't want to switch total?
We don't
So
have a choice.
Did that company sell out?
Go ahead.
Did it?
No, sir. So
Did it sell?
the agreement that we have is through the comptroller contract, right? So when that contract expired, the state did an RFP last year. Okay, and they sent out requests for proposals to the different banks, including Citibank, and then as they go through that RFP process, they determined that U.S. Bank was going to be the awardee of the state contract. And so that's the transition. We can stay with Citibank, but we would still have to go out for an RFP to do that and go through that entire process, where the state has already done that on behalf of its agencies and sub-agencies. And so we're actually in the exact same place we were 6 years ago when the district converted to Citibank. The only difference is we're doing it toward the end of the closeout period instead of at the end of the summer.
And who's the new bank?
U.S. Bank.
U.S. Bank.
Yes, sir.
I know we've talked about this before, but kind of briefly tell us the changes in procedures and everything. Because, like I expressed to you before, my concern is the number of cards, especially whenever we get into the spring and there's 30 organizations going 30 different directions. Are we going to be able to?
Yeah, there's not a limit on the cards. My concern.
You're going to kind of. I guess I'm asking. Explain to the board kind of the procedure. If a teacher or a coach needs a credit card to go somewhere, what do they have to do?
Yeah, so that is going to be part of what we have to determine. Is number one is how many cards are we going to have? Currently, I believe we have 60, and I don't have that number in front of me. I believe there's 61 individual cards, and not counting the cards that are available for checkout. And so we're at around 80 cards in the district, which in my experience is a rather large number to be out. Again, not alleging any wrongdoing, just questioning whether or not we need that many cards, and does everyone need a personal card with their name on it? And most of our employees do not. So certainly
Are they responsible for it when their name's on it?
Sir?
Are they responsible
No,
for it when
sir.
their name's
No,
on it?
we are responsible.
No, but I mean, if they spend something on it, does the school...
Yes,
Turn
yes.
in
So,
a
yeah, we
receipt.
have the means to say this was not an authorized expenditure and go through the process of doing that. Yes, sir.
I guess just like we're saying, I mean, if someone's going on a trip or we have coaches going here and a teacher taking a trip and they're 2 cards, like where are you going to, they need cards. So I don't know, I understand 60 is a
It's
lot.
been done
But I
in a
think
whole lot of different
Yeah.
ways.
Yeah.
Before I came back, we didn't have near this many cards. It was kind of like each campus had X amount, and you checked them out. And then when I came back, all of a sudden as an assistant principal, I was given a card. And, it's something I've already visited about with Dr. Avey, and that's a conversation that her and Scott will have and just figure out what's the best way to move forward when they do this, who needs them, how many do we need, what, and all that stuff. So.
But to your point, part of that discussion will be, what is our card usage and how many cards do we need? And just as a matter of practice, high school's going to, if we're signing out cards, there'll be X number of employees that have cards, and then for those who use them less frequently, there'll be X number of cards available. There's going to be more available at a high school, I would guess, than we would have available at one of the elementaries, just because of the number of employees that are traveling.
To answer your question, Ron, yes, it has their own name on it, but you got to turn in a receipt with everything you spend, and so, we've not had anything egregious since I've been here, but we've had an employee that might have spent too much on a student meal, right, and used credit card and all that, and there's been times we've asked for reimbursement, but it's, like he said, we've not had anybody try to go way overboard on their use. I feel like it's been good. It's just like you said, like a lot of people have them, and we just kind of want to relook at that and make sure that if you have one, you really need one, and if you need one, you have one. Does that make sense?
I mean, my thinking is, we're for a company of 2,000 people, everybody had one with their name, and you were responsible for that. I think that would be better than come check this card out.
And that's why it is what it is now, because it was like
a month later you're trying to track that charger. Well, who had this card then?
And that's like a secretary, and it is somebody, I think whoever just said at the elementary it's not that hard, but like Kevin and April said, come spring, when we've got baseball and BPA and UIL and everybody, yeah, you're right. It becomes a hassle if we don't know who each card is tied to.
They're grown adults and we hire them as professionals. They should be.
And they do a good job, right? Yeah.
Taking 20 kids.
Yeah. And those are the discussions we need to have. But you also need to understand, for every card you have, that's another account that can be hacked. And how many cards have I personally in my own home, between our debit cards and our personal credit card, how many times have we had to cancel a card, dispute a fraudulent purchase that was done because those accounts are out there. So the more accounts you have, I think that just exposes you to things. I'm not trying to push one direction or the other, but we do have to make the change in the cards, and so it's a reasonable time to say, hey, before we order the cards, let's talk about how many we need and who we want to put that responsibility on.
So all this is for is to go with the state comptroller card, approved card, not the limits, the numbers, the amount.
No, none of the
That's
specifics.
where-
The big picture. Yes, sir.
That would be.
Yes.
Yeah, no, the state contract, they handle the procurement process of going through the arduous process of RFP. They negotiate rates so that you don't get some of the additional fees and things that we sometimes think about in that. We get a rebate, and they negotiate all of that in the contract as to what the rebates would be based on your spend amounts. But with this card, I believe it's around 1.5% rebate on that. So yeah, it just handles the railings of that, and we decide, how much limits we want on each card and how many cards we have out.
I just don't want to get into a situation to where we don't have enough cards.
Yeah.
Or in a situation to where we're making employees scramble at the last minute to get a card to go somewhere.
I don't see that being an issue. It has not been. I mean, I worked here 20 years ago. We didn't carry credit cards. We had over 2,000 students then, and we didn't have issues with travel.
I mean, I'm not saying I disagree with the procedures that you're talking about.
Yeah, we just want to.
All the small school districts that I work on, you have to check. I mean, certain ones, principals, ADs, superintendents, business managers, have their own cards, and then everybody else has to check them out. But they're also not running the numbers that we're running, and the traveling that we're doing.
I think the best way to say it is we're going to make sure that everybody that needs one has one, but we're also going to make sure that everyone that currently has one really needs one. Does that make sense? I think that's the best way to say it. And, yeah. Every case will be looked at.
Good discussion. Anything else for me?
I'm sorry, but
You're good.
I'm making up for last month.
Yes, sir. Was that, I'm sorry, I got another one, or you done?
You got one more, huh?
Back on the budget amendment.
Yes, sir.
Are we gonna have to put that on the agenda next month? So that's gonna have to be an action item to go into
Yeah,
fund balance.
you'll have to.
Can we not add it to the motion?
No,
No, because it's
no,
not.
because it's not posted, yeah.
So you can either table this, you can do the, I'm coming with you with other amendments next month regardless. So you can either accept this and amend on the expenditure side, we'll amend on the revenue side with the other amendments next month, or you can table it and do it all together. Nope, it does take me either way, so however y'all want to do it.
We just table it to next month? What do you think? What do you-
Good, I
Yeah.
want to come out of general fund just so,
Yeah, I do.
if we find it, great, it goes back in the
Yeah.
fund. If you don't have to worry about it. Because I don't want to be called on a Saturday night, because somebody will have the budget, and on a trip, or their car's locked up. And that's what on these cards, that's what I was worried about, we're switching. If we've been at conference and
I tell about mine got declined for the first 2 years, Dr. A, so get ready.
It was your first.
Everybody's worked but mine. So
Dan? Oh, I thought it was him.
I'm switching the order up on you.
Oh,
I didn't
okay.
forget about Dan.
Okay.
I'm just switching the order up on you.
See, this is a great
Listen, Dan, he's not doing this
Thank
tonight.
you, I got this.
There's several months I did
Go
forget about
past
Dan,
it.
but I'm not forgetting about Dan
Okay,
tonight. I wanted to go first, and mine's very short tonight. A glimpse of our enrollment numbers. They've really held pretty steady. We have not had much movement up or down for several months. Some of those campuses have not moved at all in several months. As I've told y'all, anytime a number drops off of the LSA, that means a kid graduated. So that's a good drop. I would expect there to be a bit of a rise when we come back from Christmas. There typically is some new kids that show up after every Christmas. But that's kind of where we're at enrollment-wise. If you'll look on I just kind of stacked some stuff on y'all's desks today, but there's this. It is all of the events that are left between now and Christmas in case there's something that you would like to go to. And I'm sure that Christy's going to talk about her UIL today. But did she win? Did Annalisa win?
Yes.
Good. So Annalisa Garza, 3 straight years. Last night at the reception, she came up to me and what is it she competes in?
Oral reading.
She told me, her and her mom, Raina, told me tomorrow, Richie, she's going for 3 in a row. And she won today. So proud of her, but I'm sure she'll talk about the rest of the kids. But UIL was today, and you can see today is listed at the top. So that's why UIL is there. We've got kids doing a lot of Christmas things. You know that our band does their concerts on Sundays. It's always been like that. And Mr. Gensler did a good job of putting all the times there. It's always at Follis. So that'll be on Sunday. And then, of course, Monday I'm going to kind of talk about a little more in depth. All you see here is what's going on with the school. But Monday is also the day that we have a lot of things going on for Dr. Avey, starting at 7 o'clock a.m. where she's going to meet the staff. And then Albert at 8:30 in this room. We're going to meet anybody because our bus driver's not going to be able to be there. And we're going to have to leave some employees on campuses so parents are not inconvenienced with arrival. And so anyone who had to stay on campus or our bus drivers will be here at 8:30 so that every employee in the district has a chance to meet Dr. Avey on Monday. And then at that point, I'm going to take her campus to campus just to walk them, to see kids, see classrooms, and see everything. So that's all going to happen before 11 o'clock on Monday morning. And then everything else is pretty much as it says right here. But there's some awards assemblies on there. And again, guys, y'all are always invited to everything we do. And this way you always have a schedule of everything that's going on. The next board meeting, and unless it has changed, we've been doing the third Thursday. Obviously, all of that can be to be changed if necessary, but currently it's scheduled for January 15th, which is the third Thursday of January at 6 o'clock. And I went first for a reason, because I wanted to turn it over to Dan and the principals. And I'm going to be a little more restless than normal, because I've told every one of them they got 4 minutes and no more. And so if anybody hits 5 and I start tapping my phone, I'm sorry I'm being disrespectful. But they've rehearsed them on Tuesday, and I told them, y'all go over it a few more times in the mirror, because this is exactly how much time you have today. But I just wanted to take a chance to thank each of you. Melissa, thank you, Cindy, thank you, April, thank you, Kevin, thank you, Rebecca, thank you, Ron, for a great experience, for just a fantastic opportunity that you blessed me with, you blessed my sons with. I know I've said thank you profusely over the last week, but this is the last time I'm going to get to stand here and say it to you personally. So it's just been an absolute pleasure to serve Lamesa alongside of y'all, alongside y'all, alongside y'all, and alongside the community. So I am so excited. I've gotten a lot of time with Dr. Abey. I've really enjoyed meeting her family tonight. Y'all got a really good person, and you've got a really good family coming in, and it's going to be the voice Lamesa needs to take it to the next place. But for my part, thank you for everything y'all did.
Thank
Perfect.
you.
Thank you.
4 minutes.
I can definitely get it done in 4 minutes. So he already basically said his thank yous, and I was going to say thank you as well to y'all for giving me the opportunity to do what I do. And of course, thank you, Mr. Ritchie, for giving me the opportunity to be an assistant superintendent. It's been a pleasure working for him. And then, of course, I'm also thankful for Dr. Abey coming in to experience her leadership and guidance as she takes Lamesa to the next level. So just a few updates. As far as attendance, for the year from this time last year to this time this year, we're up 1.19% than we were last year. Based on last year, we had 74 days tracked. This year, we had 68 days tracked. Where we were this time last year, from last time I did the board report, 25-26, we were at 94.49%, which were 0.07 of a point down. And then, of course, 24-25, we were at 93.3%, which was 0.06 percentage down. The last board meeting, I kind of gave y'all the overall attendance numbers for TAs and teachers combined. I went ahead and separated those for you. As far as teachers in 25-26, we've had 289 absences. Compared to last year at the same time, 24-25, we had 311.5 absences. So you can tell teacher absences have gone down significantly. As far as TAs go, we had 319 absences this year, this time, and last year at the same time we had 343 absences. North Elementary won this month's attendance trophy with a monthly attendance of 95.1%, so that's pretty good. The other thing I decided to break down for y'all was discipline, and I kept it around ISS, DAP, and SWATs. So if you can see in 24-25 placement-wise, during the same stretch, we had 339 total placements. For this year, under the same guidance, we had 233 total placements. So discipline definitely has gone down this year and is trending downward. So that's a good sign. So that's been pretty good. The other thing that we completed applying for the LASSO grant. The things that we applied for in the LASSO grant was, of course, the LIFT grant. And that focuses on Bluebonnet K-5 ELAR and mathematics, and then Bluebonnet secondary mathematics. We also did the TSS, Texas Strategic Staffing for Residencies grant. We applied through the LASSO. I'm trying to go fast, so Mr. Richard tapping on me, so he's making me rush. So I'm like, let's go.
When I drink water, that means I have 1 minute left.
Already? Come on now. We also did the HB2 Teacher Preparation Allotment Program, and we focused on Grow Your Own, mentorship, and residency. And I'm going to kind of hit on this a little bit. As far as the LASSO grant, you have to kind of say that you're going to go to 165-day instructional days. On our current calendar, we're at 155.5 instructional days. So I've already kind of started working on a 165-day calendar as a kind of like a foundation. Of course, I'm going to work with Dr. Abey on that and stuff to see what that looks like. But that was part of the things as far as the LASSO grant was getting us to 165 instructional days.
And you didn't have to turn in a calendar. You had to check to say you will at least be 165 days. And that's what we
And you have to be kind of trending for the 26-27 school year. So part of it, I figured I'd just be proactive with that approach and kind of look at it. Upcoming events, I've already sent out employee verification letters. As far as camera site walks, I've already got quotes from Guardian, waiting on quotes from ACI as far as our walkthroughs and stuff like that. We're actually looking at planning a walkthrough with Jayton, with Mr. Mfinger, because they had put in Guardian cameras, so we're going to do a walkthrough with him so we can kind of get the good, the bad, the ugly as far as Guardian. We're looking at either replacing or rewiring in the cameras at middle school and at South and getting them everything consolidated into one server located here at central office. The only server we can't really touch is North because it's through Verkada, and we're like on a 4-year contract with them when we can't touch that. So we're going to just try to combine all the other campuses into one server. So when we do come off that Verkada contract, we can combine it into the server. I've been working, of course, with Darla, so we can kind of get that figured out and get that. And once we get all the numbers and stuff like that, we'll have those numbers for you. I'm doing a lot of TIA talks with Jamie because of, as far as the TIA transition, we're going to kind of see where we're at with TIA and how we're going to move forward with TIA as far as expanding it to certain other areas. And the last thing that I have is I have a substitute orientation scheduled for the end of January. I've already opened up applications for that, so be on the lookout for a substitute orientation towards the end of January. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Faster than Scott.
Yeah, we're going to go in that order, principals.
Sorry.
Yeah, just take it from him.
Get blind for that.
I'm kicking myself off, Denver, so you can have it.
All right. As I connect, I hope every one of y'all had a great Thanksgiving. And I hope Santa brings you everything you want for Christmas.
6017.
Here we go. Okay, I'm going to go fast. Need this timeline. Like Mr. Ritchie said, 393 enrollment. We have 2 at the academy. We're sitting at 94% attendance right now. The goals are the same. I'm not going to talk a lot about academics because that last time I presented, I hit test scores and I showed the growth that we had from the year before I got here to last year as far as test scores. So I'm not going to hit test scores too much. But we are going to talk about student attendance. So I took the first semester of last year and compared it to where we are right now, which is pretty much almost the first semester completed. And last year we were at this time, we were at 93.2% attendance, and we're at 94.2 this year. So, and I had to change my attendance secretary. And my old secretary, she got a new job, and she's been here for 7 years. So that's been kind of a transition, but she's getting going, and you know how the spring is. So she's got it figured out, and we're ready to go for the spring. Because, the spring, everybody's going everywhere. And the goal is to hit that 95%. And we want to hit that 95% in the spring when it's the hardest to get the kids here. So, staff attendance. This is a big one, I thought. Last year, first semester, we had 277.5 days used. This year, 168.5. So that's down 39% on days used. And, you could say the 4-day week, having those Fridays off, that's one less day a week. But one thing that I heard this from the service center, a speaker from the service center years ago, and he said, and it resonated with me ever since, like, if you want to tell what a school culture is like, look at the staff attendance. Do the teachers want to be at school? And if you've come from someplace like I did when I was an assistant principal before I got here, that makes Lamesa look like the best place on earth. All right, when Fridays, half the teachers were calling in on Fridays, and then Mondays, half the teachers are calling in. The fact that it says a lot that our teachers aren't missing, and they're not missing a lot this year. Discipline trends. So we 520 referrals from the first semester last year, and down to 327 referrals this year. 37% decrease in discipline. And, the 4-day week, I know Fridays last year, everybody would lose their mind on Fridays last year. And we see a lot less of that this year. I feel like the cell phones is a huge impact on the discipline. Not only the escalation aspect of it, of teachers having to take up phones, but nobody's recording or performing for the recording. I feel like there's a lot less cyber incidences as far as kids having problems with social media and things like that. So and then of course I'd like to think that we're constantly telling them all the time, hey, school appropriate language, no power struggles, yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am, those kind of things. I would love to think that has contributed to the 37% increase in discipline. All right, CCMR outcomes. I'm gonna go fast. I'm trying to go fast. 44 students have passed the TSI so far this year. We only have 8. We only have 8 students left from the senior class that are not CCMR compliant. So the CCMR Pro-F classes and the kids have been getting after it, and we're close. Okay, so this is the important part. I sent out 2 surveys, one to staff and one to students, and they were just 6 questions. The first 4 were rated, and it was basically staff morale, do you feel supported by administration, student behavior, and then communication. And 4 and 5s all across the board for the teachers, except there's one person who is unhappy at the high school who gave 1s across the board. So I do have one person who's not happy, but for the most part, 4s and 5s across the board.
That one will blow that average up.
Yeah, that's 1. Otherwise, it would have been like 5.0 across. And then I had 2 open-ended questions. What's one thing that we can improve immediately that would make your job better? Technology training, support for classroom programs. And I wasn't sure exactly what that meant. Maybe if it was iExcel or Mastery Prep or the programs that we use. And more advance notice for students will be out for events. Things to look at as far as the calendar. And then this question, what's one thing that we're going well on campus and should keep doing? I mean, you didn't have to be a psychic to figure out what that answer was going to be. Oh, no work on Fridays. 4-day week, please keep that. So, no shock there. As far as the students, obviously the sample size is bigger because I had over 100 students fill out the survey. So it was a little bit more balanced out as far as 3s and 4s across the board. But I asked them similar questions, overall experience, do you feel safe at school, rate the student behavior, and are you feeling supported by teachers? And they were all good scores, way more mixed than the teachers, but for the most part they were good. What is one thing that would make your experience better? And the kids are really concerned about lunch. They want better lunches. They want to get DoorDash.
Gary,
that's important.
Gary, you're good. You're doing good.
Open campus so we can leave for lunch. So they're really concerned about lunch. And then the same question I gave to staff, what's one thing that would make your experience better? And of course, like I said, you don't have to be Nostradamus to figure out. They're like, no school on Fridays, please. No school on Fridays. Okay, so here's the best part of the presentation. I added this last question in just for fun, just to make it fun. Give your honest opinion of Mr. Ginsler. It's appropriate. And what should he know? And some of the answers were pretty good. This is probably my favorite one. He skips arm day. I was like, bro, that's the one day.
Did you go straight to the weight room and start doing curls?
I saw that and I was like, all right, I got you. Let me bring some dumbbells in here. This one kind of warmed my heart. It was like a little nice Christmas present. He should know that he's a cool dude. He's nice, honest, gets stuff done, and the best principal I ever had. Ha! Take that, Jasper. You should know, and this one I didn't understand. You should know that you're chill, like a Cabbage Patch baby. 6, 7, 10 toughness, 6, 7, 10 aura. Keep up the skibbity, bro. Alright, I'll do that. He's a cool dude, reminds me of a buff Agent 47. I don't know what that means. This one was funny. Cool guy, even though he likes the Cowboys. Hating on my Cowboys. And this last answer is my absolutely the favorite one that I had. And it was on there about 50 out of like the 120 surveys. And it's not an opinion, it's a fact. He's bald. I was like, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. But anyways, you guys have any questions for me or anything? No?
Doing a good job.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, thank y'all.
All right, Jasper, you're on the clock. Jasper, do you need this?
Yeah, Sarah's gonna do it.
Okay.
Miss Jasper, you didn't hear that he called you out.
I'm not gonna entertain y'all like that,
Okay. I just need you to get back at it. Get back at it.
Y'all know how I am. I entertained you yesterday. So our enrollment at the middle school, 6th grade we have 91 students, 7th grade 115, and 8th grade also 115. So we have 321 students enrolled, and we've maintained steady enrollment this year so far. Our student attendance, we compared last year to this year, and our attendance this year, the ADA is 94.73. And this exact time frame last year was 93.74, so we grew almost a whole %. We might as well count it, a whole %. And we did win the attendance challenge the first 2 times.
Yes, ma'am.
And we're coming back. This staff attendance, we decreased our absences by 10.3%. So, and last year we had 164.5 absences, and this year we've only had 148 absences with staff. And so that's good. Our discipline has also decreased by 42.9%. This year we've only had 44 referrals. This time last year we had 77 placements. So it's a notable reduction, and it just shows that we're having stronger student engagement. And we have a couple factors that I think have contributed to this. Is the Champions Club, we kicked it off last year full force, and that made a really big impact. Kids want to do well so that they can go on those trips. And the second thing is we have Miss Bolton. She comes in and works with some of our kids that do get in trouble, and she's done some great things with our kids. So it's a resource for them, but she's also taught them how to channel their feelings and their behaviors. So we haven't had as many outbursts and stuff that we've had in the past. We've had kids taking accountability, and they know when they do wrong, they're owning it and fixing it. And so that's made a huge difference. And she's also working with our teachers to teach them strategies, how to build relationships with kids that are a little tougher. And I'm really impressed with that, because I have seen a difference since she's come to the middle school. Some of our kids that she's coming to see quite often, she's not having to come so much for them. And then we did have one little friend that needs her often. But we're getting there. Our academic progress and instructional focus, we just finished up pretty much most of our middle of the year assessments. We're still waiting on another social study assessments they need done, and then we're doing our ISL diagnostics again for the middle of the year, and that's going to help us realign our tea time so that we're being more responsive to our students' immediate needs. And then those were just pictures how we progressed with our data. This year we're really getting our kids involved in owning their data and looking at it. And so we started with the teachers. We taught them how to really do a true data dig, and then they took it into the classroom. So now they have their data posted in the classroom, and the kids are tracking their data, and it's making a big difference. A perfect example, we had a student that had 173 at the beginning of the year. Matt, they grew to 247 just from the beginning of the year till now. So I think that helps a lot. We're still focusing on our Tier 1 instruction, teaching bell to bell, and providing meaningful engagement opportunities. We've talked about giving students choices in their learning and really pushing them to take instructional risks. And then our academic focus areas is using our data to drive all our decisions and instruction, and celebrating all wins, no matter how big or small. They need a taste of success. I always say that. They need to know what that feels like, so we celebrate everything. And then just encouraging more growth, more setting more goals, because that's just going to be what's necessary for life, is creating goals and keep going and understanding that they are attainable. And then we already said that. Closing gaps. We're working on closing the learning gaps through our intervention time.
You did good. Like, are you done?
Yeah.
Dang. Oh, you were just getting going. I figured that was the introduction. You did good, Joshua. You did good.
Thank you.
Wanted to get it up here before my timer started.
Jasper got y'all back on track. Gensler went a little long, but Jasper got you back on track.
Well, good evening, everyone. Just wanted to give you guys a brief update on North Elementary. We are all ready for the break, but it has been a fantastic first semester, and so we're going into this break with lots of positives. So our attendance overall, yes, we did win the month of November for attendance. We do celebrate attendance every week. We do have our attendance champions. There's a picture of one of the classes that had won it, but every week, whichever class wins, each grade level gets flagged. We take their picture and celebrate that. So everyone works hard on getting kids to school, and more than that, making it a place that kids want to come to. And so it's not a fight to get them to come. Overall, from last year to this year, first semester, for the campus, we are up almost 2/3 of a percentage point, so 0.70. Our third grade and fifth grade are both up quite a bit. Our fourth grade runs even, and it's not just fourth grade. In general, they're the same from year to year. We thought maybe it was a different set of kids or anything like that, but as you can see, the fourth graders from last year are up over a percentage point plus. So we're excited about the increase in our attendance and students showing up and doing their best. For staff attendance, this one may not look as good as the other campuses. However, what is indicated in our numbers, if you see staff and staff with adjustments just means things that take people out for an extended period of time. So last year at this time, we had somebody on maternity leave, and then this year, this first semester, we had someone on maternity leave and also somebody on military leave, and that was 63 of those absences. So if you take those away, then the numbers look a lot different, and is a difference of nearly 60 days that staff has been there.
And the military leave, she just came back 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
I saw her right after Thanksgiving. And it was good to see her.
Yes.
We're glad she's
Yes.
back.
And
She's my gym buddy.
Yeah.
we're glad to have her back, but I will also say that we found a phenomenal person that got to fill in for her. We just happened to have a doctoral candidate in Lubbock that took time off from work to be able to work on her doctorate, and so she was also a music teacher and came in and did a phenomenal job. She did our veterans program, and we're trying to keep her as many days as she will come and be with us, but she is going to take the next semester.
She was one of 3 substitutes that were certified teachers that are commuting from Lubbock to substitute here.
Yes, so that was a true blessing.
Yes.
Discipline. Our discipline from last year to this year, and this is all discipline, so this isn't just placements. This is any referral that's been turned into the office. So our numbers are similar. However, numbers don't always tell the story. We did have one grade level last year that at the end of the year realized that they may not have held kids accountable as much as they wanted to throughout the year.
Teachers grade level.
Yes.
Yeah, not kids.
No, not the kids. The kids didn't have anything to do with it. They just felt like they were disciplining themselves by that point. No, they just felt like they needed to do a better job. So at the beginning of this year, they kind of set consistent rules across the classrooms, and so they have had an increase in that grade levels referrals for the beginning of the year. However, that has also declined since the beginning of the year, and so I believe fully that by the end of the year that it will show an overall decrease in our disciplinary infractions. Instruction, we've done a lot of focusing on planning, purposeful planning at that, internalization. We have had strong foundations on our campus, which is working through the Bluebonnet implementation for our math. And then we also have worked through planning for our Wonders curriculum and then our science with HMH. We've continued to focus on level questionings and our special populations, ensuring that we're planning for those students before we teach the lesson, not during or after, trying not to intervene our way out of I guess, assessment scores that we don't want to have. So a lot of focus has gone on that. And then the way that we're executing that, working on callbacks, and this goes along with teacher perception of student engagement, where teachers taking the temp in the room and where kids are during their instruction so they can address those things during the moment, and then increasing student dialogue. We have a saying that whoever's doing the most teaching in the classroom or whoever's doing the most talking in the classroom is also doing the most learning. And so we want to increase our students' level of discourse in the classroom about what they're learning on and their reflection of their learning. And then the way that we're doing that, using lots of data, we did just complete our middle of year map this week. We still had some students that were completing that today. They were absent earlier this week, so we don't have all of that. What we do have, however, shows that we've had a steady increase from the beginning of the year, so we are pleased with what we're seeing in the middle of year. IXL has been a great addition this year. Our teachers are using it fluently. They are able to target skills and have students use that for mastery of skills that we have identified, like we talked the last time, as essential. And so those have been going well. They also use quick checks and mid-module checks, our assessments, to then turn around and change what their groupings look like. You guys know we have the double block classes, and so that second class is able to use data from the first one and our assessments to really target student skills. And that's it. Happy holidays from North Elementary. Do you guys have any questions?
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Crystal. All right, Dr. Starr.
And my time doesn't start until it's on the screen. Madam President, Board Members-elect, Superintendent Ritchie, Superintendent. It is a pleasure to present to you, talk to you about my first 4 months on the job here at South Elementary. Our enrollment numbers are 379, which is, we're the second largest campus in Lamesa, but we have the smallest kids. So, and it shows every day. Pre-K, these are our numbers by grade level. 63 for pre-K, 106. That kinder class is very large. First grade 93 and second grade 102. What you see right there are our attendance reports from last year. However, on this screen will show the difference between last year and this year, and the green means growth. The only red column we had was for the first quarter, and that was our first graders. We had a stomach virus, so yep, and it took us out, and that's probably why the cheaters took the trophy from us. However, we're going to rebound gracefully. The next slide is, these are the things we do for attendance. We do big things like pet rallies. Everyone in here actually came to our last pet rally, attendance pet rally. It was a Halloween one. You guys missed it. We saw everything. Like literally every costume you can imagine. But we do things to make it fun for kids so they can come and get in those chairs, because you can't learn anything unless you're sitting in those chairs. And our two biggest initiatives are attendance and reading. So we do the banner. We had just that 1 week of greatness, we beat everybody, but since there was no trophy for 1 week, it is what it is. We're getting that trophy, Dan.
Go get it.
This little chart here is only there just in case you board members have a question. I'm going to flip back to it, just in case, because it's talking about the levels, which we talked about reading the last time. So I included that just in case you needed me to show you where that is. Now, reading levels. When I arrived here, for second grade, 71% of our students were below grade level. And they were serving on a kinder and first grade level. As of December, 89 of those 93 kids have moved at least one level. As of December, 57 of those 93 in second grade have moved 2 levels. And then 3 or more levels, 43 of those exact same kids have moved 3 or more levels. So I do think the work is in practice. If the kids are getting it, and everybody's showing up for children. Same thing for first grade. When we arrived, 80% of our students were at kinder level, basically. And what I put on there was ranges so that you guys can kind of get adjusted as to what their ranges are, when they're beneath grade level and where they should be. Now, 59 of those initial 89 students have moved at least 1 level, 35 have moved 2 levels, and 22 of them have moved at least 3 or more levels. So I think, and that's just in phase 1 of us trying to turn around a campus. You're going to have short-term goals, which that falls well within our short-term goals. And we're looking forward to additional data as we move into our middle of year and things of that nature. And I will continue to report what we're doing. Some of the things we're doing on campus is continuous fluency checks, running records, small groups by ability 5 times a day. So these kids have an opportunity to sit in front of somebody and let's get this going. In RTI, for 45 minutes, we have 3 groups of Tier 2 going on every day. Computer time, when you're in there, you can run 2 groups. While the kids are on IXL or any of the other programs, you can run 2 groups. We do continuous training. We didn't just train once. We have continuous training of staff and TAs. We even have already planned our training for the next semester because we want to make sure that it's not just a one-stop and you just do that one training. We continue. Let's go back. Let's check it. Let's assess. We track everything. We have so many spreadsheets. We track everything. And so when we do some of the bigger data dumps, you'll see some of that tracking as well. And we have our literacy library for our teacher resources. So we're continuously doing that. Family involvement. We enjoy, we are promoting literacy. So one of the latest things we just did this past week, if you were on our campus, we did the Dr. Seuss. Everybody from pre-K to second had an opportunity to have books read to them. We also had everybody got a chance to meet the Grinch and some of the Grinch characters. They also had opportunity to take home books. Part of our push for literacy and making sure our parents are on the same page with us, that they are also partners with us in education. We also have some community partners which have blessed us totally. Raider Pump and Supply, they were the ones who supplied every student in that campus a book. And they took a book home. So the parents and the grandparents that came out, they knew their kids were not only getting to have the fun part with Dr. Seuss and the Grinch, but they also had the opportunity to take home a book and to hear stories being read, because we want to encourage literacy, not just on campus, but at home, because you can't do it by yourself. We also had a kinder reading just last month as well, where they had a literacy night where every game in that room was about literacy. And we had tons of parents come out for that. Like I said, our goal is to keep the community in the school so they'll know exactly what we're doing and how we're trying to help their students. Now, the last thing, I know y'all said North won the UIL. How about South has never won anything at UIL but this year? So as soon as the scores came in today, you should have seen me typing them into my presentation because I was going to get to that part before my 4 minutes was up. We took first, second, and fifth in music memory. We took first and second in creative writing. We took third in storytelling. We took sixth in chess. And we took first and sixth in oral reading. South has arrived. So that's it.
Thank you.
We're done. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Let's move on to the board action items. Deliberation of possible action to approve the regular board meeting minutes of November 20th, 2025.
Move is presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Deliberation and possible action to approve the financial report.
Make a motion to approve this presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Deliberation and possible action to approve to authorize the CFO to complete the credit card agreement with U.S. Bank.
So we just approving to be in compliance with the comptrollers to put in for the agreement with their contract, correct? That's what it's for.
That's all we're approving.
Everything else will be handled by
Dr. A.
Scott, Dr. A.
100%.
Limited numbers.
And I did already, like I said, I did already visit with Dr. Eggy this
With
morning.
the state contract.
Yes, sir.
So I move to approve as presented. Sorry.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Deliberation and possible action to award bid for sale of Southland Avenue property to second bidder.
Make a motion, we award it to the second bidder at
Southland.
on Southland Avenue.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Does anybody have anything do we need to go into closed session real, like about the emeritus? That's pretty much all 5 is. We can move on to 6 if everybody's good. Okay. Deliberation and possible action in open session for the approval to offer to employ new superintendent and superintendent emeritus.
Make a motion to approve Dr. Bonnie Avey as new superintendent and David Ritchie as the superintendent emeritus.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. We're very proud to announce.
Yeah, this deserves. Yeah. Dr. Avey, I'm not going to drink water on you. You probably wrong.
You drink water. I wasn't sure if I was going to get up and have an opportunity to speak or say anything, but first I want to say thank you to all of you. Thank you for having the trust in me to be selected to interview, first and foremost, to come back for a second round, and thank you for selecting me to serve this community, these kids, the staff, the community, and everyone who's worked so hard to be here to support everything that you guys have put in place to provide for the students of LISD. I also want to make sure I thank my family. So, and I have 2 that are not here. My in-laws are on a plane. But my wonderful husband, Mike, who is my, for sure, better half. Our little one, Quinn, who's over there. Say hi. He will be in pre-K 4 here. My oldest daughter, Haley, who graduated from Texas Tech this last year. My son, Hayden, who is a golfer at Lubbock Christian, and he is graduating this year and hopefully going to be at medical school. My mom, Patty, and my stepdad, Steve. So thank you guys, because they have supported me through years of education. And these 2 older ones have lived in my office. And the little one has been living in my office for the last year and a half. So they know the work that it takes to do this work. I love the work. We're committed to this work. As a family, we are committed to this. And I have an extreme passion for bettering the lives of children every single day in any way that we can. I look so forward to working with the staff and being a part of this community. We cannot wait to move out here. We've been looking at property already, so we're very excited. But thank you to each of you, especially the Board of Trustees, who had to deliberate and decide if I was the person you thought was best suited for this role. And I appreciate, and I'm honored and humbled both by your trust in me to move this district forward. So thank you very much. I appreciate it, and I look forward to working with all of you. And
thank you.
Also to thank you to, I call him David, but David Ritchie, for just being a professional colleague over the last 2 years. We got hired on about the same time in our roles as superintendent. So sad to see him retire. And I'm happy for him, but he will be a huge help for me. We've already been working together behind the scenes, so I'm really excited to be able to have him work with me. So thank you all so much. Thank you.
We will now go into executive session. It is 7:20. Mr. Ritchie will not be joining us.
I'm going to go sit in my room.
Did you have time?